Our daughter needed a wardrobe, a thing you can buy easily, but we had an idea for a very unusual project. We wanted to build something that looks like the vanishing cabinet from Harry Potter. A closet that can teleport people and things. It can only be seen briefly in the possibly well-known films, but there it is quite imposing, and it inevitably challenged us to create a replica based on it. We planned it with a normal wardrobe along the wall. The special vanishing cabinet itself should protrude at the right side of the front. Every project starts with looking for suitable building material. I usually adapt my designs to the available wood. This is firewood, pear and ash, that has been set aside. First thing is sawing it to a square cross-section, then preparing a tenon and doing a bit of decorative milling on the side. These will be the feet of the cabinet. Then I turned the tenons to join into the base. The floor of the cabinet is framed with square timber into which we glued the feet. In between we put laminated wood panels as a floor. Next we ventured onto the cornice. The overhanging cornice consists of a board with a cove and glued on slightly offset strips. The top part of the cabinet is congruent with the bottom part, so we took the base as a template and temporarily screwed the top part onto it. Now came the most difficult work on the cornice. In particular, the ascending cornice of the vanishing cabinet was tough. After a moment's thought, I realized that it is of course impossible to both bend and swivel up a cornice of this kind with just one seam. We have to do it twice. First bend, then swivel up. This requires a small, precisely adapted piece, the width of which can, however, be minimized. At the top of the cornice we have a different situation, even if it looks difficult. It's just a simple kink. In other words, it is symmetrical to the bisecting plane in this corner. I mitered both parts coming up there at the same time by placing one of them parallel over its later position. Actually a great method. However, the first time I filmed this, the cornice was wrongly attached with the inside out. So I had to do it all over again, and because of my annoyance I stopped filming. In the end it fitted well. Where the sloping cornice merges back into the horizontal, there was no space for a continuous transition. That's why I let the profiles meet there as they came to that point, in fact adapting one to the other. I used a dark varnish as a coating so that the silver-colored metal parts will create a strong contrast afterwards. Matching plywood then had to be glued into the ceiling part in the area of the rising cornice. Quite a difficult geometric challenge. Then we made the vertical boards of the cabinet and vanished them. A rather boring thing, since we simply had to cut the pieces. However, for the doors I made a little more effort. I glued grooved strips on the end grain side to prevent them from warping. Here the front door for the vanishing cabinet. While the wooden parts dried, I turned to the iron parts. First of all, there were the hinges for the doors. On the cabinet in the film, they are very extravagant, and since that makes up an essential part of the appearance, we wanted to make them that way, so we had to forge them. First I built a propane gas forge again, I always build them freely from light concrete blocks and adapt them to the dimensions of the parts to be heated. Of course, you can invest a lot of time and money in building a permanent forge, but it's hardly worth it if you don't forge a lot and you are less flexible. As a preliminary work, I had cut tapering pieces out of flat steel. After a few tries, the parts became quite usable. A few holes were needed and some silver paint. I then simply got the straight parts of the hinges at the hardware store. The vertical ornaments on the doors were of course not available in the hardware store. We first drew the shape freehand and then digitized it. Finally, the locksmith shop of Mr. Sauter in Ulm made the parts for us with the water jet cutter. We then had to deburr and mat the aluminum, then we could install it. In this respect, the film prop is even more complex. These ornaments are pushed aside when the cabinet is unlocked and reveal a true work of art of locksmithing. We used short rests of the ornament to decorate the simpler doors of the wardrobe. Then we had to put everything together in the attic at the intended place. So that would be done. The wardrobe has shelves on the left and a clothes rail next to it. We have packed more shelves behind the vanishing cabinet. In the vanishing cabinet itself, the left door does not open at all for reasons of stability. It's just a solid side panel. Inside, actually, shelves again, but removed here for the moment so that you can use it to disappear. Of course, that's exactly what we have to try now. In the film, an apple was first put in as a test. So let's start with this safe experiment. By the way, this is my own wand that I got in 1984. So put the apple in, close the door, and well, not bad. Let's see if it comes back. In the film it ended up in the second vanishing cabinet in the shop of Borgin and Burks and came back from there. Very nice. Someone knows the script very well. Now we just have to be careful that the clothes stored in it don't end up anywhere, otherwise it will get expensive. We don't try the thing with the bird. We honestly don't have one. And our cat was not at all enthusiastic about the disappearance thing. So let's try human subjects at last.
So, wer von uns geht rein? Du machst. Okay. Du machst dann die Tür hinter mir zu. Ja. Oh, Maria hatte den Zauberstab. Oh ja, den habe ich noch. Mach kurz auf. Hier nimm.
Ahoi! Wo ist sie jetzt? Schau mal unseren Schrank. Nee. Schau mal in den anderen Schrankteil da rein. Andere Seite. Nichts drin? Nee. Und wo da? Auch nicht.
Hallo.